good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whenever you are watching this. We are guidance counselors from the Barbados Association of Guidance Counselors. And we are here to do a special class just for you, a special HFLE class just for you. And this program is entitled HFLE for all a week. So with us today we've got, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Over at the end we have.
I'm Patricia Welch and I'm a guidance counselor.
And next we have.
I'm Charnel Bell Alexander and I am a guidance counselor.
And for the few of those who know me, I am Donna Tulcox, and I too am a guidance counselor. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the COVID-19 experience. Now, I know that you've heard all about everything already. The curfew, the hand washing, the social distancing, and I've got a few of you students out there who said, I'm so tired of hearing about all of this. I know it all already. What more do you have to tell me? Well, in this special HFLE class today, we are going to be telling you how you can make all those other classes that you have been taking at school, from English to history to the sciences, make it relevant for you today. In other words, what does COVID-19 mean to you with respect to the rest of your classes? I bet you never thought about that. So, we're going to start by looking at a few of the different course streams that you have at your school, and we're going to take it from there and show you how you can use that course today, at this moment in time, to help you solve some problem or unlock some bit of knowledge about this COVID-19 pandemic that we are all dealing with. So, we're going to start with you, Pat. I know that one of the courses that you loved was home economics. So
Yes.
Share a little bit about how home economics can help you through this pandemic today.
Thank you, Donna. And I'm so happy that you mentioned the home economics, because some people think that practical subjects are not important. Some of them want to focus on the sciences and so on. But it's important for us even at this time, and for you students, to realize that being in a home economics class is so very important. Now that you're indoors, you can try so many different recipes, and even some of those you would have done at school, even basically preparing breakfast, whether it is preparing your egg or doing some sausages or doing some cereal. That will help you and help your parents, and it will also cement the skills that you would have learned. And not only that, now that the restaurants are closed, I know that many of you would have liked to go to the restaurants that are available. And now that you're home, you can prepare your own meals. And I'm sure that as a result of preparing your own meals, part of home economics has to do with budgeting, and you're going to be able to save some of your money as well. So home economics is good and it is helpful for you. And you know what is part of home economics as well? Clothing, textiles, and fashion. And even now that the COVID virus is here, there are so many people who are making masks and selling masks. And if you have the skill of sewing, then you're able to make your own masks. You're able to make masks for your family as well. And again, it comes right back down to your savings, as well as you're using your skills that have been taught within the home economics class.
Thank you so much, Pat. Now we're going to come back to you a bit later on because we got so many subjects to cover. Chanel, we were talking earlier, and one of the things that you mentioned was the use of English and how you could adapt your English class to some things that are happening now through this COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes, for those of you who are very good English students, you can utilize that skill now. I mean, even writing or journaling about your experience during COVID-19, so that a little later you can take a read off of it, you can share it whenever school resumes with the teacher, or you even keep it for something in the future that you can share with other generations. So if you utilize your essay writing skills, you can start writing and keeping that information you will be able to benefit from it. Who knows? You may even be able to publish a book a little later about your experience during COVID-19. And as school resumes, your English skills are really going to come into play because you have assignments that you have to hand in to the teachers. These must be written in standard English. None of that you and all of the internet jargon that you like to use. You have to use standard English in order to hand in your assignments and get good grades. So the English is going to be very important.
I thoroughly agree with you. That is so great. The other thing about English is that you can also use it to do things like write the poetry and even write songs about the experience now, and songs that can motivate people, inspire people. So we've got a lot in English. So when you get back into your classroom, whether it's online or whether it's back in your school face-to-face, pay attention to your English. Now, I'm going to throw the ball out. Which one of you on my panel here with me today, which one of you loves, and I said the word, love mathematics? If you love mathematics, raise your hand. Okay, so that being said, it doesn't mean we don't need it, you know. We may not love a subject, but we are still seeing how we can use it for today. Now, you're hearing a lot about if you want to stop the spread of COVID-19, we've got to, what they say, flatten the curve, all right? How many of you have been paying attention, even at primary school, when your teachers have been trying to explain to you about graphs and how to make them, how to use them, and how graphs give you information about what's going on in a particular time? Right now is the perfect opportunity for you to look and see how graphs are being used. Right now, statistics all around the world are using a particular type of graph, which goes up and then comes back down. It's almost like an upside down, I don't know, vase or something. It's got this nice up and down curve, all right? Now, when they're talking about when the virus first started and all the people that were getting sick, the graph keeps going up and up and up. And the higher up it went, the more they decided to, let's pick everybody apart. We're going to have this isolation, and that's why we have all the curfews and things like that coming up, right? But as they've gotten to the top of the curve, and they're seeing that every day there's fewer and fewer and fewer cases, which means that the other side of the graph is going down, that's when you and I have a little bit more leeway to leave home for a little bit longer time. Realize that just earlier this week, we were able to actually go to the beach for 3 hours in the morning. Did you all go to the beach?
I haven't been to the beaches yet.
Yeah, we've been too busy doing lesson plans, right?
Of course.
I would have loved to go to the beach, though. I enjoy the beach, and I think that was a great initiative to reopen so that persons can go.
Yeah, but you know, it's also based on statistics. So somebody had to know their math and understand that if we allow people to go to the beach at this time, it's not going to make things worse. And how do we know that? Because they may not have liked mathematics, but they used mathematics to help make a decision on what we can do today with respect to moving about with the COVID-19. Who likes history?
I, to some extent.
Chanel?
Well, I did history right up to A level, so I guess I should say I like history.
So can you share a little bit about how knowing some history could actually help us today with this COVID-19?
You know, sometimes persons can become overwhelmed with what is going on now and the COVID-19 and having to be in isolation, and when they hear cases are increasing, they can panic. And it is okay to be concerned, but if you know your history, you would recognize that pandemics like these are not necessarily new. I mean, they're things that have happened in the past. So do a little bit of reading, do a little bit of research, read your history, and find out that there were different cases over the years where pandemics were not just confined to little areas, but I mean, worldwide, persons were affected by certain things. And we had to wait until there were cures. We had to wait until you can get vaccinations. And so, although COVID-19 can be a little scary, if you know your history and you don't mind doing some reading and some research, you would realize that this experience is not necessarily unique. And because of that, if we were able to survive back then and generations have continued now, there's no reason necessarily for us to panic. We are going to get through this. I mean, something will come up, there will be some sort of cure, there will be some sort of thing that we can, that we can take and that we can continue. And persons would recognize that a little later down, this was just another phase in history, something that you can tell your grandchildren about and read about in history books.
Thank you so much. So you see how important having your history is, all right? Along with history goes hand in hand geography. And Pat, they were talking about how many people in the larger countries are victims right now. But, a lot of times they have a huge country and this one small area that is affected. So
Yes, yeah.
talk about, understanding your geography and letting people know that it's not the entire world.
Yes, and Donna, it's important to note as well, even as we think about geography and different locations, and whereas some big territories could be affected, that there's some of the smaller countries who would have been aware of what is going on, and they would have made preparation for what is going on. Even if we think about here in Barbados, before this virus came to Barbados, our Prime Minister and the persons within our country, our government, was putting things in place. And this is a small region, but the larger areas or the larger countries were affected. So it gives us an opportunity to prepare and put things in place for the safety of our country, for the safety of myself and for the safety of you, the students as well. So that although the wider country is affected, then you in your individual homes can be safe. You can prepare yourselves and put all of the measures that you're told about in place, so that when we read and we hear on the news about what's happening, we within our small area can say, well, look, this is happening here, but in our small country here in Barbados, that we're doing everything we can. That's why our numbers are limited. Our numbers are small in comparison to the larger region.
Thank you so much, Pat. So again, knowing your geography, what's happening in certain parts of the world is not happening in the same way all over the world. And knowing where we are, we're in the Caribbean, and we know where Europe is, and we know where the United States of America is, and where Canada is, and South America. Knowing where those countries are is important to understanding that, COVID just can't jump from one place to the other place like that. When as we say, when our borders are closed, or when our borders are regulated. That means that we can decide who can come into the country and when they can come in and what happens when they come in. So we don't have to worry that people from certain countries will come and infect us just by the virtue that they are from a different country. There have been people in Barbados from all over the world who never left Barbados from before the pandemic started. So you've got to understand geography. If we are all here together and we have not traveled and we have not gone to places that had a lot of the virus, and we have not gone to places where the virus was spreading and people got it without knowing that they had it. Coming to Barbados, we've had one or two, but not all those cases. Not everyone is like that. And again, people from different countries who have already been here, they cannot give you the virus just because they are from a particular country. They would have had to have traveled. So knowing your geography is also very important. And that brings me now to a subject again. Well, I loved it to a certain extent, but everybody has to love PE. Did you ladies love PE?
Certain things in PE.
Back then I did. When I was going to school, I did not. But now, yes, I love to get moving.
So, Chanel, you love PE. Tell us how knowing PE and using stuff that you learned in PE can help you at home with COVID-19 today.
Well, if you paid attention in PE, you know that it's important to the body to keep moving, to do some cardiovascular exercises, get your heart pumping, get your muscles moving. And even when you're home and you may not have PE necessarily in the classroom right now, but you recognize that sitting on the couch and watching television or sitting and just playing games all day, even if you're doing your online classes and you're just sitting at the screen, it is important that sometimes you get up, you get moving, you get the blood circulating. And so whether you do a brisk walk around the house or you take some time, I think it's very, very important if you at least take 30 minutes in every day to do a little bit of exercising. You can do some warm-ups, you can do some stretches, anything that would get your heart pumping, get you moving. It helps not only with your stress level, but it helps you to pay attention. So yes, you do want to do your work, and that is important, but if you get moving, it also helps with attention. So all of these things are vitally important. And PE is something holistic. It's going to benefit your entire body, from your brain to the movement of your limbs. All of these things are important. The muscles. And we want that coming out of COVID-19, if you're sitting at home and you're not doing much, we know some people, the weight is going to pack on. And so you need to keep yourself active. Not only is that good for how you're going to look, but how you're going to feel mentally and emotionally as well. So PE is very important.
Thank you, Chanel. Now, I know about not being able to get back out the door after the COVID-19 virus. But at the same time, it is very important. PE has so many different parts of it. It's not only the games that you play, but you play these games because you want to get your body in a particular way. Moving, grooving, and healthy. And that's what we're all about here at HFLE for all a week, right? We have not forgotten you all scientists out there. And we're going to look now at how you can use the sciences at this time to really understand how to cope in this, social isolation that we're in and with the whole pandemic. So, Pat, do you want to give us a little bit about some sciences that what we can take away from science that will help us with this?
Even before we get to the sciences, I was thinking about nutrition as an aspect even of the sciences and of health and of PE, because water is important as well. We need to drink plenty of water. Although we're indoors, some people might think that they're not really active outside. Chanel spoke about get moving and so on. We still need to hydrate our bodies. That's important. So even if you're sitting at the table or at your desk and you're doing your school work, or you're outside maybe taking a stroll around the house or just within your immediate community, you need to drink plenty of water. You need to hydrate your bodies. You need to eat healthy as well. So, sometimes we like to do a little snacking here and there, but we still need to make sure that we have our protein, we have our carbs, that we have, our vitamins and minerals and so on. Those are very important as well. And you think about the sciences, and I'm thinking about, the biology and so on, and the horticulture. When you get the opportunity you go outside and you can look at the plants, look at the different formation of the leaves, because they say no leaf is the same. There no two leaves are the same. So you can take this opportunity to look at the vegetation itself. And now let me tell you something. I've been looking for some seedlings, and I've been calling some hatcheries and some plant nurseries, and I realized that a lot of them are out of seedlings, because there are many Barbadians now who are gardening, who are getting their pots and who are getting their containers, and they're using the opportunity to start their gardens. And when you put your seeds, if you can't find seedlings, and maybe you can go into the hardware store or the supermarket, and you can get the little packets. There's some little packets that are sold, and you can get the certain vegetable seeds, and you plant them. When you put your seeds in the soil, and this is where your science comes in as well. Now you can journal, or you can take some information about the process of germination, the process that you see right before your eyes in terms of this seed that you plant, and then how the plant starts to sprout, and the leaves, you see the leaves, you see the trunk, and all the different aspects of the growth of the seed. That is so important, and that's where your sciences will come in as well. And you see the animals, you see the birds, you see all of the different species and creatures all around. I even noticed some migratory birds that look like doves. I don't know if anybody have seen them, any of you ladies have seen them, but there's a lighter colored dove that is in our community now. And I am sure that they're going to mate with our local doves, and we're going to see a different species of dove, or different, maybe their feathers will look different, but there's so much in terms of what is around us, what is going on in terms of the sciences. So observation is important for us. Listening, using our senses are important to us at this time, and these will help us to even prepare, as I said, and put some things in our book or in our notes, so that when we get back to school, we can share with others.
Great, fantastic. And sciences are different aspects of it. So Pat was looking at a lot of biology and horticulture and things like that. I want to take a little look at chemistry for right now, because a lot of us now have been told we have to keep cleaning, we have to keep using things, and we got to be careful of certain things. We have to be careful not to mix certain substances together. So sometimes people want to mix their cleaning substances. Don't do that. It will not make a job go faster. It will just make a job go more dangerously for you, okay? So be very careful how you are using your cleaners. Look at the back of them. And remember all those signs that we've shown you before? What's poisonous and what should not be mixed with other things? Okay. And what we have to also look at is this too. How are we going to wash our hands? We talked about washing hands, but do you know why? You wash your hands with soap, because soap cuts fats and grease. And the coronavirus itself is wrapped in fat. So when you use soap for a certain amount of time, it takes off all of that and exposes the virus, and the poor virus does not stand a chance once it does not have its fat sheath. Well, we have come to nearly the end of our session today, and we want to leave you with a challenge. We're going to show you how to make a mask out of a bandana. And then we're going to challenge you to take pictures of yourself in the masks that you have made, put them up on your class wall, and try to figure out who is behind the mask. So we're going to sign off in a little bit, but we want to let you know we have enjoyed bringing this session to you. And if you have any questions or queries, feel free to contact your school counselor. You know how to reach them. And also, if you are in primary school or you're not a part of our particular public school system, we're going to soon be able to provide you with an email address that you can send your questions to, send your comments to, and look for us wherever. Look for us on the Multimedia Resource Department website, and we'll be able to respond to your questions and queries. And even if you want to know something special, we can also possibly, maybe, with a little help from friends, design a lesson specially for that topic. So remember, we are the counselors, the school guidance counselors from the Barbados Association of Guidance Counselors, and we loved to do this for you because we care. You know how at the end of all of our HFLE classes, we like to leave you with some food for thought, and we are not going to forget that today. So in order to give you something to take away, all of our panel, we are going to just wrap up with a few seconds of today's topic, which is COVID-19 and you and your body, right? So let's start with Chanel. What do you want to tell everybody just to wrap up?
Well, I want students to recognize that regardless of the subject areas that you're doing, I hope you recognize that there is a place for them here amidst the COVID-19. And then also see how much the subjects are integrated from the sciences, you have the home economics. I mean, you can even incorporate some business, because those of you who are planting and you're growing things, yes, it may be for your own consumption, but even if you want to share and you want to sell it to persons, how do you market that? Maybe coming out of COVID-19, you may have a business. It may be the making of things if you incorporate your clothing and textiles. But all the subjects that you do are important, and you need to pay rapt attention. And coming out of this, who knows how you're going to benefit from it. I hope that you did enjoy the program today.
Thanks, Chanel. Pat?
Use this time, students, in a productive manner so that you will learn, and not only learn, but you will get some skills that are going to help you not only for now, but when you get older. And not only that, remember that you can benefit and your family can benefit from the skills that you incorporate, from the skills that you practice even now once you are at home. And don't be afraid to share with the students in your class when you meet in the Google Classroom about what you have learned, about how this program has helped you to make use of the time and make use of all the subjects. Do not demean or belittle any of your subjects. There's something, no matter how little it is, to be learned from every subject that you will learn. Remember that HFLE is for all of we, and HFLE says that everything is integrated as one for your benefit.
I could not have said it better myself, Pat. That is so true. HFLE is for all of we. And every single lesson that you have, take that skill and use it for life. That's what we're all about. HFLE for all of we. See you later.